Stormers and Sharks, Champions Cup round number 3, folks. Preview time, some squads, some stats and predictions, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. It's the second game in a row that the Stormers are playing a team called the Sharks, but this time it's the other Sharks. I'm still waiting for the day where we're going to get the Sharks up against the Sharks. That will be a fun time, but for now we'll have to settle for Stormers Sharks. Important game for both these sides. They've both got 1-1 records in the Champions Cup. I feel like Sale will go into this one with kind of low expectations. The team's travelling down to South Africa. Maybe viewing these ones less optimistically than they would the home games. They may be equally like when we see the South African teams going north. Expectations tend to be a bit lower. It's a tough job. The travel factor, it's probably preferable to go on all the time zones, but change of season, decently long flight, it's certainly an uphill battle for the away side. So the Stormers at home probably need to get a win in this one. And they've picked a pretty stable team from the side that beat the other Sharks in their last URC game. They've only made one change to the starting pack. That's Andre Hugo Fenter comes in at hooker. I think it was Ntubeni who started in that last game, so he's not in the 23. Dweber is the backup. The other guys, Titole, Fushi, Smith, Van Heerden, Fourie, Ben Jason Dixon, and Daimani. Those guys are all the same. So it's literally just the one change to the forward pack, which speaks to a bit of consistency, which speaks to a desire from the Stormers coaching staff to really get the result done here. Like some of the games, you look at the squad, like I think Stade Francais are going to Leinster, which I think is being played at the same time as this one. I was umming and ahhing for a moment about which game to watch. Then I saw the 10 changes, Stade Francais, and thought, no, they're probably going to get walloped. I may be wrong. We'll see which game proves to be the better watch. I reckon it's going to be this one, just in terms of competitiveness. But as I said, Stormers will still be the favourites at home. But yeah, same forward pack. I look forward to see Haichiva. Daimani doing his thing from number 8, cracking, ball carrier. And Dion Fourie in recent weeks has just been finding space, which is unusual for a guy in his position and his age. You usually think of him as tackle turnover merchant, but he's been involved in a bit of everything. Backs-wise, Herschel Yankees gets a start. Libok is still there at 10. Dan Duplessis and Hartzenberg are the 12-13 combo, so Hartzenberg switched to the midfield this one. Skorsan is back into the 23 alongside Zas and Willemse in the outside back. So it's a really attacking Stormers back line. I mean, anytime you see the likes of Libok lining up with Skorsan and Willemse and Herschel Yankees and whatnot, they're going to chuck the ball around. So I look forward to seeing how they go. They've also brought in Galant back into the 23. Connor Evans is back into the 23. I mentioned Dweber already. So, she's a wee bit of a mixed bag in terms of consistency and changes. In their last game in the Champions Cup, remember they beat La Rochelle by that 1-point scoreline, 21-20. They had a solid line-out, solid scrum, beat 25 defenders to 21. So they are a team that can beat you in those kind of one-on-one key moments. They do have those X-Factor players and, came back after a halftime deficit. The Sale guys have made more changes, and like I said, I've seen some of the fans kind of lamenting the fact that they've sent as many of their first-string players as they did. Some people basically seem to be of the opinion, just play the B team and let them get beaten, leave them in the UK. But no, they've still sent a bunch of the big guns. Harrison, Krevy, and Harper, that's the front row. So Krevy and Harper up from the bench. Bamba is also up from the bench. Or is it Bamba? The lock. He's into the second row from the bench. Johnny Hill continues on. Doug Dale, Ben Curry, and Josh Beaumont. Josh Beaumont switches to the number 8 jersey for this one. Ben Curry is captain. I don't feel like he's had a heck of a lot of Champions Cup minutes, but he's going to be full of tackles and turnovers like Dion Fourie. So it's going to be a really interesting battle between the two open sides to see which guy ends up with the higher tackle and turnover count at the end of the game, but it may depend on which team ends up doing more defending, more so than the individual player. Gus Warren, Rob Dupria are 9 and 10, so I think Rob Dupria is the only returning South African. Like when I think of the Sale side, they've had a few Springboks and South Africans over the years, but it looks like Rob is the only South African in their ranks for this one. He'll be enjoying a bit of South African summer weather before the game. Sam Bedlow and Sam James, the two Sams, in the midfield. So Bedlow comes into the 23 after not playing in that loss to Bristol last game. Alex Wills comes in on the right wing, so there's no Roebuck for this one. Aaron Reid continues on the left. And Vaianu, the Tongan international, is there at fullback. He can be a bit of a live wire, but in his last game, got yellow carded for a pretty senseless tip tackle a couple of minutes after he came on, so he'll be looking to have a more positive impact in this game. Cowan Dickey is there on the bench. He drops down after starting in that last game. Likewise, Tommy Taylor and Ruben Birch are back into the 23. So, yeah, no Roebuck, no Jean-Luc Dupree. I'm not sure if any of these guys are injured or if it's just changes, but certainly a sales side who can play some rugby. I mean, we look at their last game against Leinster, like I mentioned, they lost 37-27, had a halftime lead, but had bugger all territory, scrum under a bit of pressure. They clocked up some run meters, though, so they're also a pretty fun side to watch when they get themselves into some space. Also coming on the back of a home loss to Bristol in the Premiership, so we'll be looking to kind of back up with something a bit more improved. Predictions-wise for this one, the Stormers are the favourites. 14 points, say the bookies. 5 points says the Rugby Forecast algorithm. So once has got it, like the bookies have got it as a bit of a blowout, whereas the algorithm's got it being a bit closer. It's an evening game in South Africa, so 7:30, which I think is early evening for you guys in the UK. I think 5:30, early morning for us in New Zealand. Say early, 6:30. Not too bad for you guys in the States. The Champions Cup games, Challenge Cup games, Top 14, URC, and I think Super Rugby when it comes up are all on Flow Rugby. So if you want to check this or those other competitions out, link to Flow Rugby down in the description, live or on demand, because the time zones can be funny things for you guys as well. Depends on when the games are played. You guys listening, thoughts? You think Stormers are going to be too good, or do you think the Sharks can throw a spanner in the works? Take care, and talk to you guys again soon. See you later.